Oil filters protect engines. Bad ones cause wear. Good ones save money. I hear dealers say only factory filters are safe. I get why that sticks, but here is the twist. Premium aftermarket filters can match and sometimes beat factory parts when you pick the right one. I am Morgan Lane, an auto safety specialist with more than 10 years in the bay and in the lab. My team and I have torn down and tested a lot of filters, and I am going to show you what really matters, step by step. Quick tip before we start. Check your filter label for the media type. If it says synthetic, that points to higher efficiency and longer life. Let me set a baseline. A micron is 1/1,000,000th of a meter, which is 1,000th of a millimeter. In trusted lab data, fully synthetic media removed well over 90% of 10-micron particles, while typical paper media caught about half. Also, the law is on your side. Federal rules say using an aftermarket part by itself does not void your warranty. Here is the plan today. Media and efficiency, oil flow and bypass, anti-drainback valves, build quality, spotting fakes, OEM versus premium aftermarket, warranty facts, choosing for your oil change interval, and smart installation. What media is your current oil filter made of, cellulose or synthetic? Drop your brand below. First up, let's talk about the filter media itself. All filters trap dirt. Some do much more. The best capture tiny grit while staying easy to flow. Remember that word micron. A micron is 1/1,000,000th of a meter, about 1,000th of a millimeter. So a 10-micron speck means we are catching very small bits that chew bearings. In repeated tests from a major filtration company, fully synthetic microfiber media removed well over 90% of contaminants at or above 10 microns. Typical cellulose paper media removed around half. That is not a small gap. Synthetic media also holds almost twice the debris load before it plugs up. That extra capacity is why extended oil change schedules even exist today. Here is why it works. Synthetic layers use very fine fibers that make a deep bed for particles. The path through the media is longer and more controlled, so the oil keeps moving while the grit gets trapped. The result is high capture and lower restriction at the same time. Quick tip: when you shop, look for words like synthetic, multi-layer, or microglass on the spec sheet. That often signals high efficiency and high dirt holding. We nailed filtration, but grabbing dirt means nothing if the oil cannot reach your bearings right away. Next, we talk about flow and the bypass valve that saves your engine on cold starts. Cold mornings and clogged media can choke oil flow. Your engine does not care about perfect filtration if oil is late to the party. This is where the bypass valve earns its keep. A bypass valve is a small spring-loaded door that opens when the pressure difference across the filter gets too high. Most are set to open around 10 to 30 pounds per square inch of differential pressure. Some open as low as 4 pounds per square inch, and a few go up towards 75. When it opens, oil takes a shortcut around the media so your bearings get fed. That also means unfiltered oil circulates for a moment, but it is better than starvation. Some engines, including certain General Motors 5, 6, and V8 designs, place the bypass in the block instead of in the filter. In those cases, the filter's own bypass may never move in normal driving. Here is a quick tip. If your filter lists a bypass rating, choose a value that fits your climate and driving. Too tight can risk low flow at start. Too loose can overuse the bypass. Flow is safe now, but what happens after the car sits overnight and the filter drains empty? Next, we keep the filter full with an anti-drainback valve. You shut the engine off, and gravity tries to pull oil out of the filter. On the next start, that empty can must fill before oil reaches the bearings. That dry moment is harsh. A good filter stops it. Inside many filters is an anti-drainback valve, also called an ADBV. It is a one-way valve that holds oil inside the filter when the engine is off, so oil flows instantly on the next start. Material matters here. Nitrile rubber can harden in cold weather and leak down. Silicone rubber stays flexible in very low temperatures, which helps keep the filter primed overnight and through winter. That is why top filters often call out a silicone anti-drainback valve on the box. I can tell you from cold weather tests and teardown work, a healthy ADBV can be the difference between a quiet first second and a clattery one. One more tip. If your car mounts the filter sideways or base up, the anti-drainback valve becomes even more important, because gravity is not your friend. The filter is primed now, but can the housing and the guts handle heat and pressure without buckling? Let's check build quality and what separates rugged filters from flimsy ones. Cheap filters cut corners, and engines pay the price. A strong filter uses heavier metal, solid end caps, and a rigid center tube, so the media cannot collapse. The shell thickness alone tells a story. In independent teardowns, premium cans measured about 22 thousandths of an inch thick steel, while some budget cans were around 13 to 15 thousandths. Thicker shells resist high-pressure spikes from cold starts and high revs. Now the inside. The end cap is the part that seals each end of the pleated media to the core. Many premium filters use metal end caps. Some budget lines use fiberboard end caps, which are weaker and can lift under stress. Certain factory designs, like Denso for Toyota, bond the ends of each pleat with no separate end cap. That boosts strength and surface area. Weak caps, poor seams, or thin welds can let oil blow past the media or crush the element during a high-pressure event. That defeats filtration. My quick shop test is simple. Check weight, feel the can, and look for solid, clean construction. Even the best build means nothing if the filter is a fake with copycat paint. Up next, how to avoid counterfeits and buy from trusted sources. Fakes hide in plain sight online. The box looks right. The paint looks close. But inside, a counterfeit filter may have weak media, no anti-drainback valve, or sloppy glue. It can leak, clog early, or even collapse. Here's how I protect engines and wallets. I buy from authorized dealers or reputable parts stores. I check for clean logos, correct colors, and clear batch codes. I compare weight and markings to a known good part. I walk away from deals that look too cheap. A so-called white box filter, which means a generic unbranded box, is a gamble I do not take on customer cars. If your vehicle is under warranty, this matters even more because you want clear proof of quality and a receipt from a trusted source. Quick street tip from my bench. If the printing rubs off or the can feels thin and tinny, that is a red flag. Before we compare factory and premium aftermarket, a small favor that keeps this work going. If you are learning something today, hit subscribe to Recall Roadmap with Morgan and share this with a friend who wrenches at home. Now let's see when OEM is safest and when aftermarket can win. Factory filters meet the vehicle maker's spec, and that is a safe baseline. But premium aftermarket filters have caught up fast, and in many cases, they match the same tests. In fact, some modern factory filters move to synthetic media because engines demand it. One example I work with a lot is the AC Delco PF63E for late General Motors applications. The parts data lists polyester media, which is a synthetic fiber. General Motors service guidance calls for this updated filter on certain V6 engines because it meets tighter performance needs. That is not marketing fluff. It is engineering catching up with real-world demands like cold start flow and extended service. High-quality aftermarket names use similar synthetic media and often publish capture rates and dirt capacity. Synthetic media was brought in by major filtration companies to support extended oil life and higher cleanliness targets, not just to upsell a box. My take is simple. If I am under warranty or dealing with a tricky engine, an OEM filter is my default. For extended intervals or performance use, a proven premium aftermarket filter with test data can be just as strong. With performance sorted, let's clear up the warranty scare next. I hear this line all the time. Use only OEM or you will void your warranty. The law says otherwise. The Magnuson-Moss Warranty Act protects you. The Federal Trade Commission states that using an aftermarket or remanufactured part by itself does not void a vehicle warranty. A dealer must show that a non-factory part caused the problem to deny coverage. That is it. You cannot be forced to buy only branded parts for normal maintenance. In my own shop files, I keep every receipt and I note date and mileage. That paper trail is your friend if a claim ever comes up. This does not mean any cheap filter will do. Pick reputable brands with clear specs and testing. Install them correctly and on schedule. That is how you protect the engine and your rights at the same time. So, breathe easy and choose based on engineering, not fear. Now that the legal myth is settled, let's bring this home with a simple decision guide. We will match filters to your oil change plan, your engine type, and your climate so you can pick with confidence. Different drivers need different filters. City hops, long highway runs, towing, turbos, and direct injection all change the game. The rule is simple. Match the filter to the miles you plan to run and the stress your engine makes. For extended drains of 8 to 10,000 miles or more, choose a heavy-duty filter built for long life. Synthetic media was introduced for extended service and higher cleanliness, and it often holds about twice the dirt of plain cellulose. That extra capacity keeps efficiency up near the end of the interval. For shorter changes of 3 to 5,000 miles, a solid standard filter that meets the factory spec works fine because you refresh it often. For turbo or gasoline direct injection engines, which can soot the oil faster, I lean toward higher efficiency filters or slightly shorter intervals. Cold climate. Favor silicone anti-drainback valves. Hot, high load use. Favor strong cans and steel end caps. One more tip. Bigger is sometimes better if your engine allows a longer filter with the same specs and gasket. Capacity goes up. You have picked the right filter on paper. The final test is how you install it. Let's do that right next. A perfect filter can fail if you install it wrong. Most mistakes happen here, not in the lab. Do the basics and you avoid leaks, blowouts, and dry starts. Start by using the exact part number for your engine. Look it up, do not guess by size. Clean the mounting pad, then lightly coat the new gasket with clean engine oil. Spin the filter on until the gasket touches. Then tighten by hand about 3/4 to 1 full turn, or follow the tightness level in your manual. Do not crush the gasket. Before you start the engine, look for the old O-ring stuck on the block. A double gasket will blow out. Now start the engine and watch the filter area. If you see any seep, stop and snug it a little more. Shut down, wait a minute, then verify the oil level. The filter filled up so the dipstick may drop. Top off if needed. Finish by writing the date and mileage in the engine bay and saving the receipt. That log makes your next service easy and supports any warranty claim. We have covered the full process. Let's wrap and lock in your decision. We just solved the oil filter puzzle together. You saw how media type changes, what gets trapped, and for how long. You learned how bypass valves protect flow on cold starts, how anti-drainback valves keep the filter full, why build quality matters, how to dodge counterfeits, when OEM is safest, when premium aftermarket can win, and how the warranty law protects you. Then we matched filters to your interval and installed one the right way. My goal is always the same. Strong filtering, safe flow, and a quieter, longer-lasting engine. If this helped you drive with more confidence, subscribe to Recall Roadmap with Morgan, tap like, and share this with a friend who changes their own oil. Thanks for watching. Here is my question for you as you head to the parts aisle. Which one change from today will you use first on your next oil service? Will you pick synthetic media, check the bypass spec, or upgrade to a silicone anti-drainback valve? Tell me in the comments and let me know what you want me to tear down next.